Do not send your teachers, school boards, do not send your teachers into the thick of the battle. Teaching is hard work. Don't send them into the thick of the battle and then retreat from them. Be there by their side. I encourage you, be there for them.
This is the Doc School Leader Podcast, and I'm your host, Kyler Martin. We are here to sustain the vision and support the work of faithful, courageous school leaders. We're dedicated to renewal and growth. Transformative schools need effective leaders, and effective leaders are formed through patient training. Carson Baer lives in British Columbia and approaches his talk about new teachers as an ordained church leader and as a board member. He cares deeply about school and the tremendous significance of teachers. Carson offers inspiration and direction for school leaders in the sometimes overwhelming work of staffing a school. There are many good teachers who have never taught because no one has done the hard work of finding, developing, and evaluating them. There are many potential teachers who have taught 1 or maybe 2 difficult years without solid support and concluded that teaching is not for them. This does not have to be the case at your school. Carson hopes to point us in a different direction. This talk is addressed to school boards, but comes packed with excellent questions for school leaders in any capacity. What is school about anyway? Why do teachers matter so much? What does it take to get ahead of teacher turnover? What are the stages of the hiring process and what is involved in each one, from finding to onboarding to developing and evaluating? This was presented as an interactive session, and this recording includes some of that interaction where the audio was intelligible. I hope that no matter where you find yourself in school leadership, you can translate these questions into meaningful action, and that the ideas presented here spark fruitful conversations in your school community.
Forgive me, I'm going to be a little bit hard on school boards in my next couple comments here, because I've seen a breakdown in some areas. You know, there are a lot of good teachers out there that have never taught. And it's not their fault. It's school board's fault. No board has been willing to do the hard work that it takes to find them, first of all, to evaluate them, and to develop them as a teacher. It's hard work. Nobody's ever done it. They're out there. I encourage you to look for them. There are also a host of teachers that have taught for 1 year that have never had the blessing, I'll call it, of working with a functioning school board. They haven't had the blessing of working with a board that desired that they excel. So after 1 very hard year of difficult slogging, they realized and came to the sad conclusion that teaching just wasn't for them. It's sad because some of those teachers are good teachers. They just need some developing. They need some help. And sadly, their school board was sleeping. I've seen this. And I guess that's the burden of my heart through this little workshop here, is to get you boards involved in developing new teachers, because we need teachers and we need lots of them. I'm a general contractor. Me and my brother own a contracting company together. And we have, I think right now, about 18, 20 employees. And as I was thinking about developing and evaluating new teachers, a scene came into my mind. Say I had a position to fill in my company, maybe a site supervisor. I got desperate. A job was coming up. It was starting. I got desperate. I needed somebody to run this job. I heard through the grapevine of a young individual that would maybe do the job. So I call him up. I ask him if he'd be interested in this position. Oh yeah, absolutely. Have you ever done construction before? Well, my dad did. I was involved a little bit. I think I would really enjoy it. Okay, good enough for me. And I put somebody in that position, and I put it out of my mind. Maybe a month later, I stop in on the job site. How are things going here? What would I find out? You say,
oh, great.
Ludicrous, you say. Of course you wouldn't do that. Why do we do that with our schools? Why do we hire new teachers, young teachers, throw them into a room, and the position is filled and the school board kind of forgets about them for a while? It happens over and over and over again. And it's a failure. So the goal of this workshop is to spur anew in you school boards the desire to get serious about developing and helping new teachers so that you don't face this reoccurring job year after year after year of trying to fill a position. I'm a strong promoter of long-term teachers. And if school boards are going to develop teachers and they're going to evaluate them and they're going to help them, we will grow long-term teachers. We went through a very low time in our school, year after year of first-time teachers, and we saw a steady decline in the quality of our education. It wasn't happening. Some students actually failed, and we blamed the students, only to look back to find out that it wasn't so much the students as it was an inactive board not paying attention to what was happening at school and what the teachers were doing. So through some very hard work, we got that back on track. We now have all three of our teachers are long-term teachers in our school. God bless them for that. And God bless the board that is working with them. So there are some very simple things that you can do to ensure that your new teachers get the attention and the help they need to find their wings and soar. I've split the talk. It has three headings, as you noticed: finding, developing, and evaluating. I'd like to just split it into two different finding as one, which we won't spend much time on that, and then developing and evaluating, we'll look at them together because they go very much hand in hand as we work with a new teacher. Before we go into that, Ephesians 4:11, and he gave some apostles and some prophets and some evangelists and some pastors and teachers. Why? Do you know? For the perfecting of the saints, for the work of the ministry, for the edifying of the body of Christ. Our teachers play a huge role in edifying the body of Christ. Quality of teaching happening in our schools is going to directly impact the future church. So finding. I don't want to spend too much time, as I mentioned, on this point. Why does it take so long to find teachers some years? Some years it's July and then August starts to come and we haven't found a teacher yet and we get panicky. You know the feeling? You're all kind of smiling. You know what that's like. If we set out to find a new teacher, the first thing we need to establish as a board is, what are we looking for? What's the need? Very simply, a big room teacher, a middle room teacher, a little room teacher. What's the need? What is our need? Secondly, what's the goals? Have you ever sat down as a board when you're needing a new teacher and you had strictly a meeting to discuss what kind of person are we looking for? Have you ever done that? It needs to happen. So you tell me, what are some qualities, what are some goals that a board of a Christian school, what are some first and foremost things we need to look for in a new teacher?
Somebody that loves children.
Somebody that loves children. Very important.
Mature in their Christian walk.
So we're just going to write mature Christian.
Emotionally stable.
Emotionally stable. Are there any others?
Organized.
Organized.
Temperance.
What was that, Ian?
Temperance.
Temperance. Temperate person.
Adaptability. Helps if they have a passion for education.
Passion for education.
Teachable spirit.
There's lots more.
But that last one, that teachable spirit, if they have a teachable spirit, any of the others that they're lacking in can be developed.
Amen. So that's what I was going to say. We look over this list and we go, what? Impossible. How are we ever going to find out if this person has all these things? Okay, let's prioritize a little bit. Mature Christian. We're talking about the kingdom of Jesus Christ here. We need somebody that loves the Lord, somebody that is in a relationship with the Lord Jesus Christ. Number one, and we won't go through all the rest of them, but I just wanted to highlight that. Mature Christian. Somebody that has more than a head full of facts, but a heart full of faith. Somebody that is a faithful person. Another thing is academic skills. This is often overlooked when we're looking for teachers. They need to know a few things. They need to have some academic skills. They need to understand what they're going to be teaching. You cannot afford to have a new teacher learning everything the first year. It's going to be a poor year. And we'll go on to see that that can be developed as we are working this teacher into the new role. Another one I thought of was a servant heart. We need servants of Jesus Christ, those that are willing to serve. It is more than just a position to fill that we don't pay very much for. We want to pay them so they can survive and they can make it work. But alongside of that, we want a person that is willing to serve. Serve children, serve the church, serve the families of the church. Very important. We may look at character, we may look at personality, depending on what type of classroom that we have. If we have a grade 1 class, we're going to need somebody that has some inspiration and somebody that is willing to get in there and they're not scared of their own voice and they can talk and teach and inspire those little grade 1ers. We need to look at their personality. It's very important. Do we look at age ever? Okay, as long as it's not an extreme either way. I think that's right.
I would more look at it, how much she's able to have.
Maybe the age of the other teachers also.
That has a part to play in it, of course. You don't want 3 17-year-old teachers in your school.
And it also makes a difference on whether they will be teaching with their their fellow students that they had. If they were with the same students the year before, I do not recommend it.
That's right.
Give it some break.
Give it some time. I agree. Okay, good point. So not overly young, which the class size and what type of class it is, you need to evaluate those things as a board. If it's a big workload, we have one class at home that has 15 students in it. It's quite large for our school. We have a 27-year-old girl teaching that class. It's going well. Get these things on the table and discuss what your goals, what qualities you're looking for in a teacher. Don't go into it blindly. Okay, so as a board, you've discussed all these things. You have a list. Some names have come in. You have a list of prospects that are compiled. How do you know who to call first? Where do you move on from here? How do you do it as a board? Be praying. Don't take the work of the Spirit out of finding a new teacher. Call for references. Very, very important. Call maybe the parent of the young woman that you're thinking of teaching. Call her dad. Have some questions. Call her pastor. Maybe call one of her peers. What's her reputation in the youth group? What's her reputation in your church? In the church there. Call people that relate to this person. Is he or she busy? Are they productive? These are just some questions you can ask. Have they been involved in mission work? Have they ever babysat? Do they hold down a good job? These things tell you very much about the quality of a person. If you're looking for a grade 1, say grade 1, grade 2 room, you want a teacher in there that has some experience with children. Maybe they babysat. Maybe they have younger siblings in the home that they relate to. This tells you a lot about a teacher. If there is a person on your list that you have disqualified for any reason, take them off the list. Too many times boards, they hold on to somebody just in case we get to September and we don't have a teacher, then we can call that person and stick them in there. If it's not an ideal fit, if it's not somebody you're happy with, don't put them in the classroom. You are responsible as a board to the church. You are responsible to the families, the parents of these children, for what quality of teacher is in that room. You are responsible as a board, and I can't stress that enough. It makes it serious for us. Who is in that classroom? Okay, evaluating and developing. I have a copy of a school teacher questionnaire that we use at our school. It just talks about their conversion experience. What is your present relationship with the Lord? Why do we have Christian schools? Why are you interested in teaching? Are you willing to comply with the standards of our church and of our school? These are important things. You don't want these things coming up after the fact, after you have a teacher hired. Describe what you consider to be a well-ordered school, discipline, effective teaching. Are you willing to work under the direction of the local board? Do you enjoy singing and music? Just some things that maybe you don't think to ask in an interview, but something you can ask. This questionnaire here, it does more than answer important questions that you as a board have. It shows to the new teacher that you as a board are serious about the quality of person that is going to be teaching their school. And that's very important, that they feel that you are concerned about what quality of person they are. So we have went through the qualities. We have called the person. We have got a answer. Yes, they'll teach our school. What are some things that the board can do to ensure that this new teacher has a solid foundation to start the year on? This has to do with developing the teacher. We have a new teacher. We want to develop him into something that is going to be effective in our school. What are some things that you can think of?
If you know ahead of time, far enough, they can actually come into the classroom and observe and work with the teacher of the current year.
Very important. I'll just call that new teacher visit. Have the new teacher come and visit. Have the new teacher come and spend a week if they have time. Even a couple days is better than nothing. Familiarize themselves with the church, the children, the way things are done, the structure of your school. There's each school has its own structure and the way things work. They should come familiarize themselves with it. It's much easier to do it the year before when they don't have the responsibility of teaching. It's much easier on them than getting dumped in there, having to teach, and then learning things as they go. Anything else?
What about providing the support for their preparation, as in education, in preparation for teaching?
Okay. As in,
COE offers workshops. I'm thinking even, you're talking about it's never too early, and I'm thinking about someone that you would consider for a teacher and do the interview and preparation, and maybe even a year or two in advance. If that person would make a firm commitment, sending them to someplace for some education preparation,
very important.
if there is such.
So there is teacher training. As you mentioned, CLE puts on teacher training all over the U.S., so it often comes close to where you are. Line that up. I know that Faith Builders has a teacher training program. I'm not familiar with it at all. Brother Gerald Miller will be able to tell you more on that.
Sometimes a teacher can be an aide or has been an aide for years.
Right, very helpful, very helpful. Teacher institutes are important. WFTI, CMTI puts on a teacher institute. There's some Bible schools that put on a teacher institute. There's many local different congregations that have a small for kind of local teachers to come and get together. All very helpful. One thing you would want to consider as a school board is maybe paying your teacher for the month of August, or at least helping them with the expenses of getting to these things. Starting a school year and all the preparation costs money. as a board, be willing to invest, as we've heard, into that teacher. We pay our teachers for half the month of August. It just helps. It just helps them. And then you as a board have a say in where they can possibly go. We're paying you, so we'd like you to go here. Is that okay to do that? It's very important, especially for a new teacher. I want to just highlight the teacher apprenticing a little bit. If you have a teacher tied down early enough and you have a seasoned teacher that's teaching at your school, invite them. Invite them there as a teacher apprentice. This has happened at our school some, and with very good results. Getting the new teacher in there, spending a couple days with a seasoned teacher in the classroom, more than just visiting. This is helping. And a new teacher being able to help them and direct them, and this is the way we do it. This doesn't work. Why do we always expect our new teachers just to learn by default? Get in there, give it a try, find your way. We lose a lot of good, valuable time in the classroom by letting that happen. Get them in there, do some teacher apprenticing, get them up in front of the class, do some teaching. Have your seasoned teacher evaluate a new teacher. Very important. Recently at home, we had a teacher there that has taught for 14 years, I do believe, and her niece was going to another school, and she asked the board, can she come and teach her apprentice with me? And we said, well, by all means. So she came and spent 2 weeks. The first week was just sitting and watching, and the second week she was involved in some of the teaching. It was very successful for her. She had a lot of things established, a foundation established when she hit that classroom as a new teacher. She had a little bit of history there that she could work on. Don't intend to do it if you don't have your seasoned teacher in agreement.
That's an interesting idea of having a teacher apprentice in one school when they're planning to teach in another school. Is that something that would be realistic to request of a new teacher that you ask to contact their school board and see if they could apprentice in their school before they come to your school if it's at a distance?
Why not? You have any thoughts on that?
My thoughts when you were first introducing this, why are you selfish? You're just looking at trying to fill your own school's needs. We all deal with school teacher needs at times, and there's students that we are growing that have the desire to teach that will never be able to teach in our schools because we have our teachers.
That's right.
Especially if we have had long-term teachers, and we've been blessed with that. In our school, we've had teachers, there's one teacher there that taught all but one person that was in the entire school last year.
Mm-hmm.
And that was because they moved in after he would have been above her grade levels. So why are we not preparing teachers for you guys?
Comes down to the vision of the board.
It does.
What's the vision of the board? Are we equipping young people to teach? Not just in your school, but that they can go and bless the kingdom of Jesus Christ in another place. Very important. We should be willing to look into that. And I would encourage you as boards. It was a blessing in our school. She didn't come and teach at our school, but she spent some time there. It was a real blessing. Somebody from that school thanked me here not too long ago that we allowed that to happen. It's all about the kingdom, wherever it's happening. Let's work together. School boards, remember, the aim here is to help the new teacher develop into something that can be a blessing to your school and the kingdom of Jesus Christ. Don't let them stumble along through a year. That's the aim. So does evaluation and development end on the first day of school? We've evaluated this young person. They've agreed. We've sent them to some teacher training. They went to a teacher institute. We've made sure they got their room set up and they have their desks and papers and pens and we've stuck them in there. Is it over? What can you do as a board to ensure the new teacher feels needed and appreciated as the year progresses from the first day? This is maybe the most important part of developing your new teacher. Communication. Communicate, communicate, communicate. I can't say it enough. Be involved. Visit. School boards, get in the school. Visit, visit, visit. I'm not just talking about visiting school either. It's good to visit school when school is in progress. It's good to stop in and visit them before school has started. Be careful with that one because they're preparing their day. But stop in there and pray with your teachers. Just stop in on your way by. Can we pray? Can we ask God to bless your day here? Teachers feel needed and appreciated when the board stops in to do that for them. Visit them after school. Take them coffee. Visit them during church. Have them over. Visit them at prayer meeting. Communicate with them. Work together with them. What does this do? It makes them feel a part of the team. A team that is working together. I recently heard of a teacher that got to the 6-week mark, the first report period, and she hadn't seen any of her board yet. That's a tragedy. Where's the board? Who's in charge? You think that teacher's feeling part of the team? Not all board members have been teachers. That's just the way it is. And some board members don't understand teaching and what is happening. And they have a place to fill on the board. Some of them have other skills. But can we tap into the gifts that our congregation has to help develop our new teacher?
And also to evaluate to see if there is a deficiency.
Mm-hmm. I never thought of that. That's very important and could work well.
There's a little bit of a concern I have with that as well, and that is the whole idea of, okay, I was a teacher already, and this teacher is not doing it the way I did it when I was a teacher,
That's right.
so they are just doing it wrong.
That's right.
I've been on the teacher side of this, and I've been on the parent side of this, I've been on the board side of this. That is one of the things you want to really watch, but it is important that the teacher has a mentor, whether it's in their community or out of the community.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the things that we encourage, that they have someone that they connect with on a regular basis.
Yes.
To mentor them in their teaching.
Yes.
I don't care how long they've taught. It's needful.
And boards, don't just expect this to be happening. Stay connected. Find out if it's happening. Find out if this teacher has a mentor. And if they don't, try to find somebody that can help them. Very important. One thing you can expect as a board, a new teacher, especially young ladies, they come to a new school. We always have a board meeting before school starts. They sit down, there's 4 or 5 men in black suits sitting around the table. They're not just going to talk all the time. Sometimes they're going to be just quiet because it's intimidating. It's a young girl. She's an 18-year-old. It's her first year. The board can be intimidating. How to overcome that? Try to bring them out. Ask them questions. Ask the new teacher questions. Stay connected. Not overbearingly. There's a ditch on both sides of the road here. You can helicopter over your new teacher and she doesn't have and you don't give her the room to excel, but just stay connected in whatever way you can. This way you can maybe see some problems developing before they become big problems. Help them. Articulate situations that requires the new teacher to think through a solution. Don't always give them the answer. Ask them questions, try to involve them and get them thinking through the problem. I sat on a board once where the chairman he always had an answer. And the teachers, one teacher especially, struggled with that a little bit. Work with them. Help them to run the thought process through their minds and to develop them. It's all a part of developing. You know where I'm trying to go with that. Don't always have the answer as a board. You are there for a reason, to oversee and to help, but help them to come to the conclusions on their own. If it's not too serious of a matter, give them a chance to try some things. You have to be careful with this one because you do want it to be successful, but if it's not too serious of a matter, maybe some classroom management things, let them try some things. And if they flop, it's a good lesson learned. a very good lesson learned. But pay attention, stay connected. Sometimes a little bit of failure is the best teacher, but you do have to be careful with that method, that it's not happening too often. Another way you can evaluate and develop your new teacher is by taking your eye off the teacher. And you're going to say, how does that work? Look at the classroom. Look at the decor. Look at the cleanliness. Evaluate the students. Look at how they're responding to how this teacher is teaching. Evaluate their behavior. Evaluate their study habits, their posture, their appearance. This all tells you something about the teacher, and it's all a part of development. In our school, we have a classroom inspection report. And this goes to a board member every board meeting, and they have to report back. We have 3 rooms, they get 3 papers, and they are expected to sit down during class in those rooms and fill this out. It has to do with the classroom, the teacher, disposition, control, eye contact, and the students. Noise level, attention to teacher, obedience. You can tell a lot by these things. If you start filling them out, we file them away. If you start seeing a little bit of a problem, you can start looking back and going, oh, this started appearing. And you can sit down with that teacher and you have something to show them. This is what we're noticing. It goes a long way. A teacher can appreciate that. And I've heard from our teachers a couple times how much they appreciate the classroom inspection report. It's just a simple format. But it does a couple things. It gets you as a board member into the room, and it gets you paying attention to what's going on. You have to fill this out. So very helpful in evaluating and developing a new teacher, and maybe not such a new teacher. Maybe an experienced teacher that has a flat spot, because we're humans, aren't we? We can help them. In conclusion, there are many different paths to a desired end. Many different paths. We know people are unique, and teachers are no exception to that. They have things about them that are unique and different. They'll probably have some flat spots. Remember as a school board to step back at times and just look at the big picture. What's happening in our school? Step away and just look at it. Are you seeing Christian character? Is the teacher's influence positive as a role model? Sometimes we get our nose so close to the grindstone that we can't see what's happening. Step back. Look at the big picture. Are the students excelling? You know, the teacher's worth finally must be determined by the product that he or she is producing. It's possible to ruin a good teacher through neglect and just not caring enough. Many boards have ruined good teachers by this. Don't be guilty of giving your teachers the Uriah treatment. I found this in 2 Samuel 11:15. You know the story after David's sin. He wrote a letter, and this is what he said: "Set ye Uriah in the forefront of the hottest battle, and retire ye from him, that he may be smitten and die." Do not send your teachers, school boards, do not send your teachers into the thick of the battle. Teaching is hard work. Don't send them into the thick of the battle and then retreat from them. Be there by their side. I encourage you, be there for them. Nothing we said this morning was new. It's just an inspiration for you school boards to get involved in your teachers' lives, to evaluate, to develop, to work together with them. You're a team. It's not teachers and school board. Be by their side. Work together with them. You'll have less problems to deal with on a board level. The kingdom of Jesus Christ will receive young people that are already building on the foundation, on the right foundation, if you help your teachers.
As Carson has recognized, the task of finding and developing a new teacher can be daunting. It's particularly discouraging if you have to repeat the process every year or two for every role on your staff. Faith Builders has been working for years to help provide training for teachers to better equip them and encourage them to stay in the classroom long term. We are working on a new program to provide on-the-job training for newer teachers as another means of supporting school leaders in developing new teachers. This is scheduled to begin the summer of 2027. You can email fbrg@faith.org at fbep.org for more information.